It's Thursday, July 1st. That's right. It's a new month. Where has your life gone? I'm Ken Napzok, and we are here for a special edition of the Positivity Report. What's so special about it? We got a wonderful guest. Mark Reilly's here, GPACharity here, and I'm pinch hitting for the wonderful Josh Macuga, who we do have on good authority is doing okay following the Paranormal Activity 3 watch-along we did last night. I actually got scared. We'll talk about that on the show in a bit. But we do have text confirmation that Josh Macuga is generally okay. He needed a bottle of rosé to get through the night. I'm sure he'll explain more when he returns. But he and Amanda and, of course, Crackling Rosie getting on board a plane. I got to use that song title play on words so well right there. I'm so proud of myself. They are heading out to their home base for Macuga and the Macuga family in Pittsburgh for some deck toss on the 4th of July weekend. Updates coming. I'm here right now. We got a wonderful guest coming up here in a second. But before, as we always do every time I sit in this host seat, we got a little something called the Morning Musing. All right, we call this the Positivity Report for a good reason. We want to spread positivity, and often that's just fun laughter, jokes, conversations, silly things, me sipping coffee and trying to say the right words early in the morning. But you look around the world, it's sometimes we don't want to ever give the idea that we're ignoring things or that we're not involved in conversations that are important or looking around the world and seeing all the pain and suffering. And there's a lot right now, whether it's rich folks using their power of money to get out of jail on technicalities, whether it's settlements behind closed doors, whether it's apartment condo complex buildings collapsing after years of debate over what's going on inside the complex and now lives are lost, or even evacuations of a massive volcano going on. I believe that's in the Philippines. I just saw that today. A lot of things in the world. Every day they can get you upset and get you angry and get you hurt. And I was thinking about this morning about how do we get through that? And you could say the fun words, the buzzwords, hope and love and hang on another day, which are all valuable and important. But also coming out of this pandemic, it's about connection. It's one of the big things in Star Wars that you all know as a Star Wars guy. I love my themes. I love the digging into those Star Wars movies and finding out how they inspire you and connect with your real lives. But connection. It's in Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, Lando telling Poe Dameron, there are more of us, Poe. There are more of us. They win by making us think we're alone. And in the last year and a half or so, we've all kind of been forced into some sort of isolation. Connections were there, Zoom, FaceTime, all those kind of things. But this past week alone, I got to connect with my good friend Owen Mugen, a producer, podcaster with me on the Napzok Files. We hadn't seen each other in a long time. Masks off, all vaccinated. Gave a big hug. Got to go have dinner with him and the wonderful Mark Reilly. And it felt good to just sit around and be connected again. And I think that's how, when things get really dark, you can find your way through. The connections, those moments where you can reach over to someone that you actually know and they're in front of you, but also checking in with them, texting, calling. Those things Josh says at the end of the show about reach out, text someone. I think that's very important. This last year showed that without that, we can really start to suffer. We can really start to hurt. We can really start to feel alone. So right now, with this week, the world on fire, as it always will be, it's important to remember we all have those connections. And that's my morning musing for this show. All right, I'm excited to bring her back to the show, but first I'm in this studio, and she brought two treats that I can see I left over there. Please welcome to the show, Wendy Lee.
Hey.
Wendy, give me
My
a fist
hair
bump
looks
of
crazy.
connection. A
Hello.
fist bump of connection. Wendy Lee making her debut in studio, just the best. Is that this top you're wearing? Is this an Ahsoka Tano inspired? Because
Think about it.
It kind of.
Is she green?
What are you, Ula the dancer?
No,
Loki.
but it is
Loki?
Star Wars. Star Wars.
Look at
Different
Boba
character.
the pattern.
Uh-huh.
Tell me.
No.
No.
2 more guesses.
2 more guesses?
Wait.
You guess.
Star Wars.
Bosk, the bounty hunter.
Jabba?
Oh God, guys. Ikaika?
I'm the Star Wars expert. I'm like,
The other
oh,
person
it's
with-
Hera.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
Hera.
Yes.
Oh, the Twilight. Thank you.
Oh.
Yes. The pilot that gets everybody.
Yeah. You know, the best pilot in the galaxy. I'm embarrassed. I don't compete in trivia anymore, so some of the details. But no, yeah, you're right. I recognize the symbols, the Leiku, everything there. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's
Get
okay.
it, Wendy.
There was a lot of energy that went into the morning musing there.
Yeah. People are screaming in chat. Hera! Ken, you wrote a book about Star Wars. Hera!
Oh no! I had your book. I was gonna bring it over so you could sign it for me.
Well, guess what? It just means you're gonna have to come back to this
I will
show
have
at
to
some
come
point.
back so I
Wendy
can
Lee,
sign it.
how are you doing?
I am doing great. I got my coffee. I'm with friends.
Yeah,
my
you are
first
with friends.
in-person show.
This is great. It's great to
Yeah,
have you.
thank you.
And you brought the cake. Could you bring me the lemon? I forgot to bring the lemon cakes over. I'm not gonna eat them on air, but I just want to show. This is why I titled this episode "Wendy Lee to the Rescue," and there's a lot of things in that there. And tell me a little bit about what I'm about to eat here off air.
So this is from a little Taiwanese bakery that's down the street from my place. And I brought. I asked specifically, even though Josh wasn't going to be here, I was like, anybody have food allergies? Specifically.
Right.
So I got everybody some blueberry muffins. They're delicious, and the bakery is called 85 Degrees. They have like boba tea and coffee and basically some of the best pastries I've ever had. So I was like, I can't not come to the show empty-handed.
No, Taiwanese bakery. This is great.
And it's supposed to be mini lemon. I've never had them, but they were just putting them out. I'm like, I'll just snag that.
Oh, they're fresh lemon
They're
cakes?
fresh.
Yeah, I want that.
Yeah.
I
love
love that. And this is probably looks like
Look at this
the
blueberry
greatest
muffin. Really
blueberry
good.
muffin
And here's
in all of time.
best quality. Please consume as soon as possible after purchase. That's the best. So in chat, MJ Bay said this: Wendy's awesome, so thoughtful.
Aw,
And so
thanks.
I wanted to start the conversation today. We'll go all over the place and we'll talk about what you and Dustin are doing over the movie couple channel and reviewing Loki and all that kind of stuff. But we got a lot of your life story, your journey here to America, your journey here from your youth to here now. So we know a lot about you here. But what I love about you, see, I was going to go guest list today. It was going to be me and Mark Reilly because I knew I was subbing for Josh. And I just, it wasn't working. It was a busy week, and I was like, And I thought, no, Wendy, you were going to be here last week, and we couldn't work out. So
Right.
you are literally come to the rescue.
Thank you
Number one.
for having me. I love that I'm here.
Yeah, but going back to this comment, MJ Bay says, Wendy's awesome, so thoughtful. You are, and Grace and I felt it. I don't want to speak for Grace, but Grace and I felt it so much in last year. We went through good times and bad times, the loss of our dog and engagement. And you make an effort, and I want to talk to you about that effort in your heart. You literally drove out to give us a little thoughtful little gift in our time of sorrow. You literally made sure we had something, and that's something about you I love.
Aw.
Is that you take a time and a moment to connect with someone and make them feel better. Where does that come from? Where does that drive come from?
Ken. I don't know. I guess I just feel it feels good to be nice to people.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like bakery or
Right.
I don't know, a phone call and text, be like, hey, I'm thinking about you. Hope you're doing good. Because I want that for me, and it also feels good to know that, to let people know you're thinking of them, and it doesn't require, like, it's not a reciprocation sort of a thing. It's not like they treat me good, so I'm gonna treat them good. It's never really like that for me, and I think it's also my upbringing, where my mom's like, you just you don't always be good to people.
Yeah.
Cost you nothing to be nice to people.
That's and you said it's not always going to come back.
Right.
It's not always
And
going to
that's
be
okay.
in return.
It's not why I do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's such a sweet thing and it's important, but it goes out there if you're having those moments like, Grace and I don't talk about it much on these shows, but like when we lost Ratsy, that was traumatic. Losing pets is traumatic, but also how deep and connected she was into Grace's life for 17 years and mine for 4 years. It was hard. Mark knows. I mean, with what happened with Cal and that great life that we celebrate, but it was just a little thing to get a little knock on the door. And you drop something off, and you don't live close.
No, probably like 20 miles out.
Which in L.A. might as well be another state.
It's true.
Yeah, and do you find time? Do you find when that happens again? You're not getting anything out of it, but what has that done for you as a person when you go outside of yourself to make others feel good? How does that help you deal with what anything you might be struggling with?
Oh, I mean, I think a lot of the times we're so inside of our head, and it's very. Look, I will say, I live a pretty good life. I'm not super rich. I don't have everything I want. I don't drive the newest car, and I don't live in the best, house, or I don't have a house, I rent. Can't afford a house here in LA. I rent, I have an apartment, but I always think like other people have it way worse than me, so I try not to complain, and when I do complain, I very much acknowledge, first world problems. So it's really, when I don't think I go out of my way. I just, if I can, for even 1 minute in someone's daily life, be that bright spot for a second, and if they have some sort of like stress or worry and it goes away for even just that second, then I feel like, that's a part of living like a good, fulfilled life. So you can't, on your like dying bed be like, I never did anything for anyone. I don't want to do that. And then when it like, speaking of like for you and Grace, and also for Mark with our pets and stuff, being a fellow like dog parent.
And I know you had a pet loss too.
So it was kind of like consecutive. If you think about it, it's like Reilly, Wendy, Grace, and Ken. I'm like, what is this? Aren't pets supposed to last forever? I just knew the pain, and then of course having experienced it firsthand not that long prior, and knowing the connection Grace had with Ratsy, like she took the time to like text me, so because she knew that I would like to know, which I appreciate her take the time. And I kind of, here's the event that happened is I was just like la 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 whatever, it's a like walking into our little home office there, and I get the text and I looked out and I literally dropped to my knees. And I busted up, and I like Dustin turned around, he threw the headphones off. What's wrong? And I told him. He was like, oh no. And I was like, I have to do something. Well,
we love it, and this is what Reilly and I worked with you all those years over Collider, and you were such a building block of it. But that also means you could get overlooked, passed by, because just Wendy's always first in, Wendy's always there, Wendy's always going to take care of you. And people have a tendency to go, cool, thanks for the lemon muffins, and let me go on the way. So I don't know. Am I out of place on that, Mark?
No, I know that feeling. And Wendy, you held it the whole company together.
Oh, thank you.
That's what I always got with Wendy.
I tried.
Because I would see Wendy maybe stressed a little bit, but you always held it so well. If I was stressed, you would know it, because I'd either be crying or punching something. But
we should have always put a punching bag in the
that would have been good.
That would have been great.
But you held it together, and I always would know maybe, and I would go over and like we would have our little check-ins.
Oh yeah.
I would just walk over and what's up?
What's up?
How you
doing? Yeah.
What's that?
I was also kind of like en route to the bathroom too, so I get like the daily. I'm not right next to the bathroom.
No, but at the time,
classier than that.
You would kind of get everyone coming around.
Yeah.
That's like you were like the off ramp near the off ramp for the bathroom.
I was like on the exit. Exit this way.
What you got is a lot of people going, and a lot of people coming out. Hey, how you doing? I feel great.
Yeah, you get a lot of great conversations. Like, you're not supposed to be a part of it. It's, you're right outside of the boss's like door. You're just like, what is happening right now? So the headphones would go on. I'm like, I don't need to be a part of this.
And there were traffic jams sometimes with the off ramp to get to the bathroom. So I would go, and then I would go, oh damn it, and come back around and be like, bathroom.
That's
so how you doing, Wendy? Oh, it's open.
Yep.
That's a great idea for a show. Of just like Wendy in the waiting room, like just you being the last desk before the bathroom.
Yep.
And how many conversations you had.
Somebody write it right now, Reilly.
Yep, I'm on it.
How are you doing, Wendy? You and Dustin coming out of the pandemic, which again the Delta variant, all these things we're hearing and worried about, and can be worried about. But we're enjoying the connections and moments we have now. How are you coming out of this creatively, getting back to things? I want to talk to you about what your thoughts are about just Marvel TV in general and covering it there.
It's been at the same time freeing yet stressful. I think you guys get it, because
totally.
It's no longer like I clock in at 9, I clock out 5:36, maybe 7 if I decide to have a long day. I work all the time.
Right.
There's no like, oh, you're going away for the weekend, cool, have fun. I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
Like in fact this week, because you were saying earlier that it's been really busy, and everything's kind of, as things start to open, people are getting vaccinated, even though the variants, like we'll talk about that later, but California finally started to open up, and then the industry started to open up. So, Marvel TV shows are right now in full force. Star Wars TV shows, that's next
Soon,
with Book of Boba Fett. Black Widow is coming out. So there's been a lot of just like back to back to back things that it's like if I slow down, I don't have a whole team. I don't have Christian Rufacaba and like Remsen and Cody Hall to help me out. So it's all really up to me.
You need to
Dustin.
get yourself in a kaika.
I should. He's like, hey, what's up? Unsung hero, guys. Give them the treats, okay?
Yeah, but it's a one. Well, Dustin too, but it's you got for your channel specifically, but also for you and your career too. It's just you holding up the
I
plate.
edit. I'm the only editor.
How do you? How do you find those times? I think a lot of us are going through a lot of these kind of things too. Whether it's in this industry or you at home, trying to get through a pandemic with kids, families, jobs, and where do I get money for food to eat? Well, all those kind of things. And how do you, Wendy, find any kind of mental health or any kind of moment of peace? What do you look for, and how do you get to that?
First of all, if you can get into therapy, if you can afford it, and right now I think a lot of places are still not charging. If you can do it through a healthcare provider, do it.
Yeah.
Therapy has been, and I can't believe I didn't start until this year, and it wasn't really because of like, I think the pandemic was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. There was just so much stress from like workplace and something else that I was really bottling in that I didn't realize until I think it was like maybe the 4th or 5th session that she literally broke me. She's like, I like to talk about this. And I just busted up crying. She's like, so, click of the pen. What's triggering the tears right now? And I'm like, ugh. It was just a hot mess, and I couldn't stop crying an hour after the session. Yeah. And Dustin's like, you want me to leave you alone? I'm like, I just want to be left alone. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
And then I took a hard nap, and then I woke up, and then like for the week after, I felt great.
Yeah, I think Reilly can attest. If you haven't had an uncontrollable crying session in therapy, you haven't begun yet.
You haven't done it yet.
You
You haven't put in the work.
Yeah. It's can be very cathartic.
Cathartic.
Yeah.
You know, when
Not in the moment.
cry. Well.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
Mark and I usually we'll just go cry in the parking lot.
Yeah. I cried on the way in.
And
Well, there you go.
it's sometimes the amount of times I used to cry on the way into work for many jobs. Some out of this industry, some in this industry. Going,
You know what?
This is wrong.
I've been there. Now that you say it, I have done it where you put your stuff down, you close the car door, and you're just like,
I don't want to be here. I don't want to go here. This isn't where I'm supposed to be.
You text her saying, I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay, I got a question coming in. Not from chat. It's a text. And this is, it's from my good friend Dan Farron, who I want to get on the show too. He's a great storyteller, great writer, and comic, and survived pro wrestling like me. He says, "This is a strange question. Was Wendy Lee ever a stilt walker at Magic Mountain?"
Oh my God, throwback!
Yes.
How do you know? Yes.
You were?
Yes.
Dan.
That's where I learned how to stilt walk.
That makes sense.
Dan coming from downtown with that.
2008 or 2009 this summer.
Tell me about this. I want to come back to there's some stuff I want to follow up about therapy. Put a pin in therapy.
Also get yourself some Reiki.
Get Reiki.
Your life is going to change.
Reiki.
If you think it's a bunch of hubbub, you haven't done it. You haven't gone to the right person.
ReikiHealingWithGrace.com.
Yes.
Check it out there.
5 stars.
5-star review. By the way, I there's Grace is she has confidentiality with every person that works with, but I have a studio next to her. So if I hear her start a session, I leave.
Oh, that's nice of you.
I don't want to hear anything
Grace
from
has
anybody.
also triggered not her, but the energy healing has also triggered the afterwards.
Yeah. Great stuff in chat. This is why I love her chat. I want to come back to the stilt walking too, but to go to the therapy thing. A lot of people, Jenny Lawson starting therapy on July 23rd. Peaceful Guy says, unbiased listeners are good for getting through things. It's all the MJ Bay says, check out your employee assistance program too. The 6 sessions with a therapist were free for me. And the Peaceful Guy says, I do freeway crying to hide my broken heart. That's what I would do too. Kaika Shively, what do you got over there?
Speaking of therapy, this muffin is delicious.
Is it?
I'm
Is
so
it?
glad.
It's so
Everybody
good.
take a bite. Come
Yeah.
on.
Oh my God.
Mukbang time.
Okay. Well, we're gonna. Man, the
Do it, Reilly.
presentation on this muffin is so good. I could eat this in 2 bites.
This bakery next to my house, if you don't get there at opening, they run out.
With good reason. I'm cutting myself off from Kaika's beautiful shot he had this morning. So, all right, let's go back to this. Shout out to my friend Dan Farron again. Who
It's like
wanna
spongy
get
and
on this channel.
delicious.
Oh my God!
It's so good. No, this is good. Let's just have some ASMR muffin eating.
It's moist. It's fluffy. It's
Giggity.
Real blueberries. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I need some butter.
85 degrees. Daily Cafe. Check it out. Stilt walking. I knew
walking.
that. In the back of my head, I know there was a connection with Magic Mountain. I know that. I knew that. Stilt walking.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Okay. Can I scoot this a little closer to you?
You do whatever you need to do
Nice,
because you
okay.
brought this muffin.
And mini ones.
Yeah.
Maybe when does Josh come back? Maybe we can leave one for him.
They'll be gone.
No, he
Okay,
misses
next
out
time
on
I come
this.
back, I'll bring different options.
Dave Taylor says, I'm worried Kate Mulligan will randomly appear and punch the muffin.
Does she not like muffins?
No, it's a great story when her first child, I think, either she was pregnant or post-pregnancy, and her husband brought back a muffin, and there was some drama, and she punched
It wasn't the one
muffin.
she wanted.
And she punched the muffin.
Better a muffin than
You know.
a person. So
That's
yeah,
what- that's what
you
Dickie
go,
thought.
Kate. Do that.
Ryan Almond, thank you for the super chat.
Stilt walking. Okay, so there was
And Arthur, sorry.
ad on. I think this was so old. It may have been Now Casting, but I want to
Oh,
say it was actually Actors Access, which is like breakdown services for actors who are looking for auditions and things like that. If you want to self-submit,
money.
work, money,
Jobs.
get paid to entertain. And I saw, Six Flags Magic Mountain. I was like, well, that's a fun little, theme park. I enjoy the roller coasters. It's not little, it's pretty big. And they were looking for summer entertainers, stilt walker, no experience required, though preferred, but we will train you. And I was like, okay. And then there was a whole, thing once like you get into the audition, like we will train, assess, but if you don't pass the assessment test, obviously we can't hire you for safety reasons because you're going to be, like a safety issue for not just yourself but park guests. So I auditioned.
Yeah, falling on park guests. Can you imagine that? Just Wendy go.
Timber.
Yeah. Okay. So you go there. You
So I
take.
go
What do you
there.
take a test? What do they make you stand on this log?
We auditioned, and it was just think like improv games as an audition.
Okay. Yes, and.
Yes, and improv, how to interact with guests, and mind you, I've never worked at a theme park prior to this.
Okay.
I don't know how to talk to people at a theme park specifically, so I was just like, oh, it's acting, but bigger, theater. It's fine. So we did what we did. We did some balancing tests, which I was like, okay, I think stilt walking is going to be a little different than just like if I can balance on one foot.
What? Okay. What is the actual test? I'd like to try to make a Kaika do it.
Okay, you stand on one foot,
Sorry, you can't. I do.
then you stand on the other one,
Okay.
and then you do the
Wait a
like,
minute. So
you-
you stand on one foot. They stand on the other.
and then you switch, and they want to see your balance. They basically are testing your balance. And then one things that they made you do is to squat as close as you can to the floor and try to lift one foot out in front of you. You know how like the skaters do like a sit spin?
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Oh, like a.
Yeah.
they just
But
want
you're
you
not
to see-
spinning. Yeah, they want to see if you can do it, which was not easy. There's a lot of core
That's
involved.
that's where I'd fail.
Where I think a lot of people were like, oh, but they still took them on just because I felt like that was kind of like a really extreme because still walking does use core, but not in that way.
Yeah.
So but I passed, and then so they're like, okay, you can start. Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks later. Can you start training this day? And I was like, okay. So I walked in, sneakers on. They're like, wear this, bring this. We'll have other protective gear for you. Sign all this stuff. Signed a bunch of stuff. Walked in and met our stilt trainer, who's been on stilts for years. Like he jump ropes on stilts. He hops on one leg on stilts.
Come on.
He does things that I was like, you shouldn't be able to do that
Yeah.
on stilts. So we went into training on it's drywall stilts. So if you've seen painters around, painting and they're up on the stilts, it's the same. So they're not meant to be performance stilts, but they are great.
I'm trying to remember how many times I've seen
I should
people
have brought them.
painting on stilts,
Next
and I
time.
got to tell you, yeah, just bring it in the office. Here.
I don't think I can stand all the way up
See.
here, but
We'll do it.
maybe the hallway.
We'll do like a charity fundraiser. If we hit a certain amount, we'll see if Ikaika will get on the stilts. Ikaika, would you do it?
I'll try. I'll do it.
We've trained many of people. Dustin and I both have trained many people on stilts.
So Dustin knows how to stilt walk
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I was like, hey, it's been a lot of fun. The pay's pretty good. You get to go to the park and go on roller coasters for free. You want to do it for next summer? And he's like, okay. And then he
now
auditioned.
Ikaika's going to apply for this job. You just mentioned the magic
it's
word.
too hot. I would.
It is pretty hot there in Valencia.
Plus, you're higher up. It's
Yeah.
hotter. You're closer
Yeah.
to the sun, right? Is that how science works?
Yep.
Science.
You always get how's the weather up there?
But Mark, Mark, come on. I know you and I, we fail this test, but is there any part of you that would be like, oh, one ad says, walk on stilts. Let me give that a go.
I can't even walk through the door without tripping. I hit the side of walls
So do I.
when I have at least a 50-foot give. And somehow it's
And
just
you shoulder
like,
check yourself.
oh,
He tripped on the cords like 5 minutes ago.
correct. This is
Right.
correct. I have, as I get older, I get worse. So, no. No to the stilts.
I'm like you too. Grace and I have this thing because like Grace is so wee, and I always say she puts things in front of other things because she needs less walk room.
Yeah.
You and Grace are built size, but so it's like you might sneak past this more than I can.
Yeah.
So I'm always kind of like, honey, you put a thing, but she's like, you hit walls just in your office.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I
It's
always
like you're
blame Leia.
walking and you think the door house somehow will automatically shift.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what's that doing there?
It's just like as I get older, my equilibrium is
It's
going off.
something in the gravity, right, Mark?
It's just, it's like 18. It's like 45.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. Mormont Han says
weird.
if the MCU cast Stiltman, Wendy knows a guy. And Peaceful Guy says, I want a unicycle sometimes. There's this guy who rides around Burbank. There's two. I see every day. I see the guy dressed as excuse me, as the muffin's so good it's choking me.
Yeah.
I see the guy dressed as the Mandalorian with Grogu on the electric motor gas powered skateboard or whatever.
Right.
He's every day. He goes up and down the street.
This is in Burbank?
Yeah, and he's on TikTok, and he's kind of, a lot of people don't. He'll just ride past this office and on the walking path and everything.
What?
I see him, but then I also see this guy just on a unicycle. I'm like, who are you?
Why?
It's not 1920 and you're
But
going to the
also,
circus.
why not?
But
Did you
why
hear about
not?
the Titanic?
And that's the difference. I'm like, yeah, what are you doing? And Wendy's like, that seems cool. So that's why you ended up on stilts.
Yeah. And then after that, I made my way over to Universal Studios Hollywood. Still walked there for a little bit. Over their Grinchmas
They're Grinch.
celebration. Yeah.
So
Did that for 4 years,
What-
4 seasons.
what are some of your can you still walk now? I mean, could you like
It's
You
like
said you
riding a
have-
bike. I need like the
I
first
fall.
3-4 minutes just to kind of like get used to, just because
Yeah.
you're a little bit your center of gravity is a little bit different, but you're not. People think like, oh, it's like no,
Yeah.
you're not. You're literally, your body won't let you fall unless your stilts actually break.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, my body would probably let me fall. But yeah,
I'm
what's
falling,
what's the what's the gig? Down
Just
I
air
go.
mattress around you. Got you, Ken.
Down I go.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
It's like, you see Christmas Story? Can't get up.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
do that again,
Hey,
Kike.
Kaika, we need. That's what it'll sound like.
Here, do the act. Do the act. I'm like, whoa.
That's great. I
Make
love
the
that.
birdies going around the head.
So, what are some of your favorite moments as a stilt walker at Magic Mountain? Anything that stands out? Any kids? Did you step on a kid, or do you step on an Ewok while fighting the rebels in the forest? I don't know.
Never stepped on a kid. People somehow. I've got other stories when it comes to
Yep.
theme parks. That's not including me on stilts, so we can talk about that.
That's a GPA after dark.
That's actually
Okay.
I would put
Sure.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, working big retail
I'll
security.
come back to.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know the amount of people that think no one's going to see you when you go to the parking lot to get some action. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so I imagine that might be it. Yeah. Okay, so
People get confused. How are you so tall? When it's very obvious if you look at the bottom of my costume when the stilts peek out, those aren't human feet. And the next question is it robotic?
yeah,
Where's the machine?
Oh.
I'm the machine.
you're the machine.
Me. I'm the machine.
You think you're the scourge of New
I
Mexico?
am.
Well, by God, I
am.
am New Mexico. That is amazing.
I've only fallen
How-
on purpose twice because of training. They have to teach you how to fall.
Oh yeah, tuck and
You have
roll.
to- you have
What's the key to falling?
Get as low as you look. The stilts for Six Flags, at the tallest they can go, I think it's 3.5 feet up. And I think universal Bigfoots, and those are actual performance
Yeah.
stilts, and those are the ones with the more articulation. Disney, I believe, uses the same kind for like parades when they used to have parades and stuff. Those I think only are 2 feet, 2.5 maybe off the floor. So it's
But so
Yeah.
you were on 3.5 foot stilts?
you can because the drywall stilts you can extend them,
Okay.
so you can go as high as like I want to say like 3.5, 4 feet.
I
So
mean-
I've been, but it's just like not as fun because then I feel like I have to yell hello down there,
Yeah.
and it's like I can't really interact as much, and then the kids tend to be a little bit more scared of you to come because
Yeah.
they're all, how are you so tall? They don't understand.
We have a 2-rung stepladder in the house that I have to get on to hang things, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I am
Stilts, it's better.
I am a cart puller in life. I'm a Kevro in chat. Kevro, what's up, Kev? Says, ooh, that's a couple's costume for Wendy and Dustin, and an AT-AT, an AT-AT from Star Wars. Come on, you've never done come on
my
a Halloween
God.
party.
We can have you run with the like rope around us, and we
Yeah. Cable's out. Detach cable. Good shot, Jensen. See if you guys can like.
We'll make sure we have air mattresses.
That's a good idea.
That's a good one.
Make Dustin the ass of the AT-AT, and you could be the
He'll
front
hold
with
down
the.
like this.
with the That'd be great.
We'll coordinate it. Oh my God,
Okay.
that's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll try
Great
it.
stuff.
We'll try it.
Jenny Lawson says, I've fallen down yoga poses. Huge lunge gets me sometimes. So, Wendy, I think you've picked up some amazing skills here.
Still walking.
Still walking there. How do you get up? I've always wondered that. What's the starting point?
So
Someone pulls.
the ideal one is you have something about the height of like a theme park trash can.
Okay.
I say that because you've been to a theme park, it's about the standard height.
Right.
If you're sitting on top of that, you can put on your stilts, and then you can just stand up like you're getting up from a chair.
So what if there's no trash can?
So
You just sit on a trash can. They're like, cool. Here's your training. Find a trash can.
my stilt trainer can do this. I cannot. He can go from the ground, like sitting like ass to floor, put on the stilts,
Yeah.
get up on one stilt. So you basically would have to flip and like then you're on all fours, and then you just kind of like push yourself
Yeah.
up. And then he can hop on his one stilt leg while putting on the other stilt. I don't have that
that's
skill. That's a lot of core. I don't have that much core. I can't do the ground up. I would need to be if I'm next to the wall and I lean against the wall, then I could put one on and then hop on one and then just use the wall as like a brace
Yeah.
to put the other one on, secure it, and then I can be off and good.
That's good. Danny Medina in chat says, "Can you imagine the joy of Ken's face as he runs around to take down the AT-AT?" Yeah, that would be great. I would forget that it's you and Dustin. Just run around. We're gonna come back to some stuff here with Wendy about. I want to pick up a therapy thread that we started. Also talk about what's going on with her and Dustin reviewing these things. We also, though, want to remind you here, we've just launched a podcast network. That's right. We partner with the fine folks at Blue Wire to launch the podcast network. We're just getting up and running. Some episodes are up there. You'll find daily content if you want to just hear the shows in audio form. And we're kind of cooking up some special things to give you bonus content on those specific shows. We'll get to that. Also, some podcasts only, some original content, a lot of things in the works. And there's a separate feed for the afternoons with Josh, Ken, and Amanda. I personally have to catch up on loading over 400 audio files to that feed. As well as Casterly Talk, my Game of Thrones podcast with Rachel Cushing, Andres Cabrera, Thomas Risling, Lon Harris, and many, many others will be back up and running and be under the Blue Wire GPA banner. So look for that stuff. All right, now you can subscribe to the main feed, which is Good People Association, Apple, Spotify, wherever podcasts are found. If you search and we're not there, let us know. We're in the process of getting it pushed out. Thanks to the fine folks at Blue Wire. Big official partnership with them. We're so happy about that. As always, we're in July, which means Pride Month has ended, but Pride doesn't end after a 30-day period. We're still taking portions of our proceeds and donating to the Trevor Project at trevorproject.org. Go ahead and check them out to find out all the wonderful things they do for people who really need it, talking about suicide prevention, therapy, comfort, connection, understanding, all those kind of things for the LGBTQ plus community. Especially they focus on 25 and under, which is very key as people try to, as they discover themselves and become, have pride in themselves, which is very hard, which is what the pride thing isn't about. Some pride. It's like overcoming all those things to get to that point. It can be very tough. And I know there's even my own family, there's some stuff that is going on. It's like you feel for these youngsters, and that's what this organization is about. So that is there. Yeah, name here says, Wendy brought Ken lemon cakes for Casually Talk. I do feel like Sansa Stark, who loves lemon cakes. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that much right now. Wendy, going back quickly to the therapy thing, you said you started it this year. You'd never done it before?
Mm-mm.
Other than cost, which is unfortunately sometimes
Can be expensive.
can keep people out. Was there a reason you started now? You mentioned the pandemic. Did you want to do it before? I'm curious about getting people to understand it's okay to take, like a stilt, it's okay to take that big walk towards something like therapy.
Yeah, it's always been kind of in a conversation with either, Dustin and myself, just like, I think I want to start therapy, and amongst friends as well. Luckily, I have, a group of people that are very understanding. Like, I think maybe a long time ago, and hopefully there still isn't this, like, a stigma around therapy and mental illness.
I think it's getting better.
I think it's getting better. I hate that there was a stigma to begin with. Like, people kind of like, oh, how can't just get over it, right? Like, it's like some people literally cannot get over it.
Rub some dirt on it. Take a lap, hit the showers.
That's my upbringing. And I think that's maybe why I've looked into it, but I never pulled the trigger to actually start it because, not saying my mom doesn't believe in mental illness and anything like that, but she's also that, very traditional, like, Asian family, don't cry, don't show emotion, don't do this, and just be polite and say thank you, and get over it, don't cry. A lot of don't cry when I was growing up, and I was a big crybaby. So finally, after talking to a few close friends and having a lot of discussion with Dustin, who's also been really supportive. I think it was actually Grace, because we have our like monthly FaceTime catch up, which is really, really nice. Yeah. And I've been telling her, I was like, I really want to get into it. And she was like, you should look into it. And she kind of gave me not just, your reasoning of wanting to get into and why it would be good for your soul, but the more technical side of things, like, look into the healthcare. She gave me like step by step. This is how I think you can go about it. Look into that. And so the next day I was like, I'm going to put this on my to-do list. And I went and did it. And it was a little bit of a process. It took me, I think, about like a week and a half to actually get all the things going. But once we started, it's been just fine. And it's every week so far. It's really nice.
And I found when I was I did real solid therapy for about 5 years. And look, the journey never ends. You can feel, hey, I'm ready to go without it for a bed. You can always return to it. It's an ongoing thing. Or you could just do what Mark Reilly and I do, which is just cry in the alley here, which is great as well. That's been working for us, Mark, right?
It's worked. And, I'm going to not cry today, though, because this blueberry muffin.
Blueberry muffins therapy. Well, look.
Therapeutic.
I'm sorry, Josh, you missed it.
Yeah. Food therapy's okay. It's an okay thing every now and then.
Yeah.
Take that water. But it's when I was in it, it's sometimes you hit a wall. You think you can't discover more. You can't work through more. And I remember sometimes having some therapy sessions that me and my therapist were almost bored. We were just hanging out.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, I'm pretty good this week. And he's like, all right, cool. You want a sandwich?
And you just like shoot the shit.
Yeah. And then the next week you're balling because you discovered something new. And I think that's what's important. Have you discovered that too, where it's like, did you go in going, you don't have to divulge them, but there's 3 things I want to work on, or there's something, or have you discovered things along the way?
I went in with very specific things that I wanted to work on. The kind of
she was like, all right, first thing. So I used to have this desk by the bathroom.
So I used to, and all the conversations I used to hear.
Everyone used to come to me.
And I used to get into my car, and I used to no. My previous job was not the only job I cried about. Let's just put that out there. There's been plenty of jobs that I'm like, like when I was in food service. I think I cried the most
in food
at
service.
That job. I cried the most.
Is it just because the way people treated you, or your station in life that you just weren't happy with?
No, like the job was fun. It was what I was. Cheesecake Factory was fine. It was fine. The people were nice.
That's great.
The kitchen staff, because we opened our core team, we opened the restaurant together. So I think there was that sense of family. So we all kind of were like really tight knit. But I was always the people like, if their steak was well done, they'd get mad at me. And you can't say, but sir, I asked you if you want it well done and you said yes. And now you're mad because your steak is well done and you're literally yelling at me and I'm making God knows how much hourly and you're now not going to tip me and I'm on my feet 8+ hours.
And it's the dehumanizing. That's one of my pet peeves. If you treat service staff like the help.
Oh yeah.
It
got
drives me
this
crazy.
too.
Snap. I had a good friend that it was uncomfortable every time we went somewhere.
No.
And I walked out on him in a Staples once because we were second in line, and in front of us was a young mother with a 3-year-old. she was by herself. I'm not saying she was a single mother, but she was handling this moment by herself.
Oh.
And the kid was a little rambunctious. He's 3. And there was one guy checking out, and my friend just starts looking around going, "Hey, man, am I the only one saying this? Are you guys going to help me?" And I was like, "Goodbye." And I left him.
The accurate
See
response.
ya.
Bye.
left
I
him.
don't
So-
know him.
Yeah, so you had that. You were working through that stuff. Yeah, okay, I get you.
Yeah, but it was also, on myself, I wanted to find patience within myself. I think during the pandemic, for some reason, like I had became like I felt like I had which is the opposite of like what we talked about at the very beginning of the show. I felt like I was starting to lean towards having no empathy for anything or anyone, and that was starting to really kind of hurt me. Like thinking about, I was like, why don't I feel? Why am I not feeling right now? What's wrong? Like what is it there? And I didn't really get like that until and it wasn't like because I'm jaded about anything or anything. And I discovered that during the pandemic. And then I also wanted to focus on making my marriage stronger.
Right.
And working on like the right way to communicate, because here's something that and I don't think Dustin will mind me divulging because I'm not giving details, but
Well, I brought him right here.
hey, oh, sorry, honey, you want a muffin? So
Dustin's a sweetheart. He's
He
he's
is.
a great Darth Vader.
he is.
Yeah.
So I wanted to. So the way because you guys have seen me at work,
Yeah.
less filtered at work.
Yeah.
Like, especially when I'm stressed or like down to business, I'm like, look, this is like, I'm just gonna lay it out. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it like this.
Oh,
And that's
we
it.
knew those days.
Yeah, like when I get really serious and like
Yeah.
like sometimes my words, like I don't care if like I don't think about my words are gonna hurt people. Sometimes when I'm in like that kind of a stressful situation. With Dustin, I am so afraid to speak to him in that way. Not that because he does anything to me. I just don't want to hurt his feelings. That though which is great.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. Yeah.
That though results in me not always being truthful with my feelings 100%.
Right.
So what's wrong? What did I do something wrong? Even if he did, I'll say no.
Right.
And that will build up and build up and build up. And then you have a big explosion over like, I don't know, his hat is on the floor. Why are you upset because the hat's on the floor?
This is great. Mark, resonating?
Oh, resonate. Oh boy.
Mark, take a bite of that muffin.
Yep.
Yeah, hold on. I'm writing my therapist right now.
I figured
Emergency
it out.
session, please. No, that
That's
very much resonates with
Yeah.
me. It's
Yeah.
something that I've had many experiences with. Therapy has very much helped me over the year, this past year. In fact, 2 therapies that I wanted to get into to better myself and whatnot. So I understand.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
awesome.
Great realization. Kate Von D says, crying before jobs is so real. Again, this job crying club. You don't cry on the
Need a
way to this
t-shirt.
job, do you?
No.
You let me know if you cry on the. You start crying on the way to this job. Let me know.
We have a problem.
I'm going to take you to Del Taco.
fine.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we usually play darts. I mean, hope you're not crying.
Gotta feed the man more muffins.
Yeah. So you went into therapy with those kind of things in mind, or they've grown, morphed, and come out of that?
Those were the 2 core things
okay.
I wanted to work on.
Okay.
The communication within my marriage, and then why don't I feel things sometimes? Because
Right.
that's bad. But then we've gone beyond that, and she's like, my therapist has really surprised me because oftentimes we just shoot the shit.
Yeah.
Like the first
great.
2-3 sessions we talked about, and I was like, is this therapy? Because I feel like I'm just FaceTiming a friend. It's great.
Yeah.
And all this is over, Zoom, so it's a secured server, but
Yeah.
so I don't have to go anywhere. She doesn't have to go anywhere. But then she'll will open, the first 20 minutes of the conversation, like, oh, what'd you do? Oh, what'd you do? She's talking to me about her kids. I'm talking about her this and that. She's like, okay, well, and then it turns just at a dime and it catches me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you mentioned this 3 sentences ago that I don't remember what I said. And I noticed, and then she'll go into like childhood stuff. She's like, have you experienced XYZ in your childhood? I'm like, were you there?
Yeah.
How do you know? I don't know how she does it. I've never seen her take notes.
Yeah, she's clearly a witch, right?
She's witching me.
Where we got witches in our mind from
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity 3.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
no, I look, it's crazy, man. I dig into themes, and I started looking at Star Wars. I've always enjoyed Star Wars, but my pal and podcast partner Joseph Scrimshaw is so good at themes and so good at taking things and taking something. I once said something, and he was laughing. He goes, "Oh, well, Yeah, no, that makes sense for you because I was talking about a spaceship. He goes, yeah, that makes sense for you because this is how you view. And I was like, whoa, you pulled a theme out of something of my favorite spaceship. And I think when you start digging in, all that stuff goes. It is that web. It's this web that goes all the way back to the beginning. And I think that's it's powerful when it hits you in the face. Sometimes it can change you. It can scare you.
Yeah.
Have you been scared yet? Have you been like, oh, I've learned something I didn't want to learn?
Yeah.
You don't have to divulge that you want to.
Yeah, it was
kill me on stilts or something. But
bring my stilts over. Yeah. Get on these, Ken, right now. We're going for a walk. Yeah, after my first big boohoo session, the follow-up, the 1 week after, I told Dustin right before I started the call, I was like, I'm kind of scared. I don't know what she's going to make me do. I don't want to cry again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I had a friend like that, too. Did not want to go. Never went to therapy because the first session, she bawled her eyes out, and she said, "I don't want to do that again." I was like, "Well, I think I don't. I think that's kind of part of the point."
That's the whole. You're not you don't have to cry.
Yeah. But it's like that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You're layered.
You have to work. You have to work. It's gonna. It doesn't make it like my life is so much better after one session. If that was magical, everybody would do it.
Well, and we are an easy fix society where we are let me tweet my movie opinions instead of going into the nuanced discussions and everything. But so we want sometimes the quick fix.
Yeah.
I said I was 5 years in before we looked at each other, and he had the big book of notes. I'd love to see what he read. I don't know. He just did notes. He could have been writing recipes for tonight. I don't know. But I remember looking across, and I just said, he goes, what do you think about next week? I said, I don't think I need to come here. And he's like, yeah, I kind of agree. I think we're good. And we had some check-ins and this and that, and my battle is depression and self-loathing and apathy towards myself and maybe things around me. And it came out of that, understanding a lot more. And I changed as a person. Again, am I overdue maybe to go back? Sure, probably.
But you can always, like you guys both said, you can start and you can stop. There's no a definite schedule. It's really up to you. And to your therapist. Their job is supposed to be open and they're trying to help you through it. So. Right. They're going to guide you as much as you can, but ultimately it's still your choice at the end of the day if you want to continue or not.
Yeah, right. Andrew Cook says, I often think of a therapist as a professional friend. I like that. I like that as well. And for me, Mark, sorry, I cut you off there, but you come out of it, whether or not you go back in therapy or not is your choice and could be depending on what happens to you and everything. But I also think I at least came out of it with tools to better handle situations within myself going forward. I don't know if that what you're going to say, Mark, but go ahead.
No, I think I was just going to say, did you guys in all your therapy history, did I ever tell you this? Did you ever have a therapist fall asleep on you? No, just me?
Reilly.
I thought I just wanted to lighten it up
Professional friend.
That's when I said, you know what? I'm good.
Were they slammed?
Moved on.
They were slammed.
This man slept. This man fell asleep 3 sessions in a row, and that third one I went, okay.
I'm done.
Maybe 8 o'clock at night on a Wednesday is too late for you.
Were you just like, and then my mom said, and then I came around and
yeah, he had this.
Awful.
He had this thing. This was years ago too. This was while I was at Collider, and he was just sitting. And it's not the something about Mary where the therapist comes back and he's with the
Oh God.
But I was sitting there and I'm like
Jenkins.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there talking and it's you can't really see it with my eyes, but you could just see he's like.
Yeah.
But these are in-person sessions too.
Oh yeah,
it was pre-pandemic.
This is pre-pandemic. Yeah.
Oh no.
And
Peaceful Guys Got Your Back says soothing Reilly voice.
I'm just like, and then I looked in the mirror and I thought to myself, I can do better, Doc. I can. Doc. I could do.
Doc.
So when I knocked over that liquor store ATM, I then went to Mexico and anything?
John G hopes that you got the reimbursement for those sessions there.
Yeah.
A great comment here. Peaceful Guy says, so much in our childhoods form the adults we become. When you're a child, the mind has to process things it doesn't fully understand. It can create subconscious triggers we never work through. Yeah.
Oh, that's what we're working on right now. That's next week.
Subconscious triggers? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking with some pals recently, too, just going, man, isn't it that way you reacted or handled a situation, say in second grade, is how you're going to handle it for the rest of your life unless you acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You know what it was? It was my pal Owen. We were talking about. We made a joke about he made this great joke. He goes, and this year I'm going to keep my Trapper Keeper organized. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, that was me. Every year I'd get my school supplies, I'd get my backpack. I'm like, this is a year this backpack's not going to get messy.
Right.
3 weeks in, paper's crumpled in the bottom, and it was like that is how I handle everything.
Oh no.
It just
So the
starts
opposite
there.
of what I know of you.
Well,
You're real organized.
Grace wouldn't agree.
Oh no.
Grace, I am a creative that has that. Tom Davis, the late Tom Davis of Franken and Davis, the SNL writing team in the 70s, and had a quote about creative people and the messes and the organization that they have in those messes and why it works for some folks. It doesn't work for everybody here.
Right.
But it's a constant battle. It's a constant battle.
I
think there's
organized.
9 boxes you got to step over in my little tiny office right now because I'll get to them. I'll get to them. My Trapper Keeper will
Well,
be.
from what I remember, the two of you, your desks were real organized.
I think we were. Mine had a lot of tchotchkes on it, but if you open the drawers,
Oh,
it was
it
okay.
not?
Yours is fine.
Mine was fine.
The
But when
weirdest-
you open the side thing,
Yeah.
there was just I had random cards in my desk
you?
that, when I first decided to go to Vistaprint and make cards.
Oh yeah.
It had my old address, and I'm like, why do I have 300 of these in
In the trash.
my Collider office
At
desk?
the start of the pandemic, I started up the fire pit and I burned 500 business cards.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, you're watching them the burn, and you're like, those business cards when you got them when they showed up in the mail, you're like, I'm gonna make it now. I got 500 business cards that are gonna let people
Gonna
know I'm
pass them
serious.
all out at Comic-Con. Contact me. I'm gonna network.
Who does that? Who does
Yeah.
that? Oh man, yeah, I'm with you, Mark.
Yeah,
I'm with
just
you.
Something. Yeah.
The worst we can confront him when he comes back. Mark Ellis, wonderful, very minimalist. You go his desk, nothing. You open up
Yeah.
that drawer, it was like chaos.
Really?
reigning. Yeah, he had checks in there that he hadn't cashed from 7 years ago. We asked him about. Oh yeah, that's where they went.
Yeah.
it's good. It's good.
I remember we had to clean out a desk for some reason, a Collider, and I ended up going to that desk in particular. And I was like, I think this is Ellis. Does he want this check?
Was it a lot of Wood Ranch receipts?
A lot of Wood Ranch receipts. Yeah.
Yeah, and gum. I remember packs of gum.
Packs of gum. Well, you gotta be key. You gotta be key. Well, this has been fascinating, Wendy. I really appreciate you sharing some of this stuff. I think it's valuable for those in chat and valuable for those listening and watching later of this. The value of therapy, and I love your perspective as someone who, also your upbringing, you just your parents, their culture, the stuff handed down in different cultures and how you do. I'm Russian, and Russian we don't no problems, no problems. Eat,
Eat and drink.
eat and drink,
Yep.
and we get through because war era Russia. That's where my grandparents came from. They dealt with problems a little differently than I did. So it fuels down, but to take the moment to stop, to take that brave step, like getting up on stilts, that says a lot about you going into themes. Oh, there's an interesting challenge that I don't know how to do. Let me get up on those stilts and figure it out. And I think you deserve a lot of credit for that.
Thanks.
So good stuff.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit in the minutes we have remaining here. And Ikaika can jump in here too because he knows the stuff more than me. Are you enjoying these Marvel TV shows and everything that's going on?
Oh, yeah, especially, no spoilers, especially the latest episode of Loki.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
watched it
Episode
last
4.
night.
Oh, my
Oh.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I haven't watched any of these yet, but Ikaika, you were excited, right?
Oh yeah. The only thing I saw was someone was like, I said "F you" to the episode twice, and I was like, "What? What happened?"
And
And then
now
I was
you
like,
know.
"Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Audibly gasped a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. Oh.
What?
Ooh.
Why? Why? How? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's 2 more episodes.
yeah."
Why are they doing this in episode 4?
How many episodes this season? 6, 8?
6.
6.
Just 6. So like Kenobi. Okay, I got to get ready for that. Well, what are you and Dustin loving about these Marvel shows, specifically these Marvel shows? What are they doing for you guys that makes you drawn to them as fans?
I think for us, it's nice to see a character, minus Loki. I would say Loki had a pretty big presence in the MCU in the films, but for Wanda and Vision, they were kind of very much, even though they're important, they're side characters, and their stories really weren't told on screen because they're being shared with such a big, A-list ensemble that it's hard for everybody to get all the screen times. And
Right.
we knew that when we first saw not Natasha, because now I'm thinking Black Widow. When we first saw Wanda, she wasn't even never acknowledged as, the Scarlet Witch, but we all knew. And then there was the whole but her father's Magneto and she's an X-Men, but then Disney didn't have the rights to X-Men at the time. So how is this going to work? But that's all changing now. And I think WandaVision, kind of gave these characters a really nice way to flesh out their story, give their character arcs, their journey, and to also kind of bridge that gap of how we're going to get them from point A to point B. And you can't just assume, because the comic books, therefore they're going to do this. It's kind of well, we have in development, but now you have.
Right.
And that's what I'm liking about these shows.
No, that's what I've been picking up on it, even though, as everyone here knows, I say it to the point of being disgusted with me. I'm not a huge MCU person. I mean, I enjoy everything I watch of them. I really love Black Widow. No spoiler. I really love Black Widow. I think a powerful theme about women taking back their narrative in a world in which they've been branded and controlled by many others, mostly men. That's at the core of Black Widow. Yeah. And I love that story, and I hope it gets the attention it deserves, as well as just some amazing kick-ass moments. So I love those details things, and it seems like, and Mark and Kaika back me up because you guys have watched these shows, they are really taking those times to character study these superheroes. Not that the movies don't, but they have the ability now, right, Mark?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and WandaVision for me was this deep character study for Wanda and grief and loss and what the mind can do. She has powers, that, and that's the manifestation of that grief is that show, which I love. And Loki is a new one, is a very different kind of theme, and his is purpose and whether he's destined for this. And you said it, Ken. These are some deep meditations of character that I love that you can do now on these streaming series that enhance the movie later on. That's why on Cantina, I'm going to cover all these things because it's going to show up. This is going to affect the MCU movies. Right. And it's just wonderful what they're doing. And I hope that I hope DC looks at this and goes, yeah, maybe we can continue the Snyderverse over in a form like a streaming series, or they're doing it with the Batman. So it's exciting for nerds like us now, I think.
It might start over at DC. I mean, they are doing the Peacemaker TV show. So that
and the Batman, the Gotham
Matt Reeves
PD.
So that could be, them sort of laying down the foundation for TV shows. I think it's a good way because you only have so much time in a movie, and you can't expect everybody to know all the source material for Batman or Wonder Woman or Wanda. So I think TV show is the way to go.
It's amazing where we've gone. The golden age of TV goes on, and now it's even with streaming. I think it's a new chapter of that golden age. But mid 2000s, it really started to change. Sopranos is one of those shows early on HBO that turned TV into a cinematic experience. Right. We grew up in that era where Airwolf was like as cinematic as you got, and it was like a sitcom with a helicopter.
Oh yeah,
and I love where we are, and this as a Star Wars fan, that's I love the movies, I love the sequel era movies, and so Mando had to go up against that for me, and at times it felt smaller, but at times it felt smaller, more intimate. Where season 1 is about reprogramming who you are, and season 2 a lot of parenting themes and all this kind of stuff, and that just you are allowed to press pause and go zoom in.
Yes.
And that's what's been a lot of fun. So you guys have been having a lot of fun breaking them down.
Breaking them down. The good part is, you're excited and you're watching, and we do, film our reaction for some Disney Plus shows like Loki. We did for WandaVision. We're doing it right now for The Bad Batch. We did it for Mando. Right. So it's been a lot of fun because you later look back. We're so used to having the camera in set up that we forget that it's there. Right. So it's not like, people are like, oh, you guys pre-watch so and I'm like, I don't have these shows are 45 minutes long, and plus I have to edit. You think I have time to pre-watch the episode? Yes. So then I can
stay
render
up late, watch it,
and then get this video by 5. You really think it takes me that I don't have time to rewatch. I sit there and I'm fighting with YouTube upload, and it's for example, the latest Loki episode, it was at 99% processed.
Oh, it's the worst.
For half an hour.
That's the worst.
And I just sat there and I'm just oh my God.
Wendy, I know you live a little farther away from us, okay? But if you need to drive, and even if we're not here and you can't get in the building, just go out on the sidewalk. We have fiber here. We have fiber. I uploaded a 2.5-hour Force Center video in 4 minutes yesterday. All right?
I will,
all right,
I
come
will
on by.
sit in a parking spot. Ken, I'm here. Give me the password.
If fiber's in your area, as someone who once was like, hey, I've got this thing called net zero.
Yeah.
Blew my mind yesterday. 4 minutes, 2.5 hour video.
And if
That's-
you bring some muffins, you can set up a
yeah.
desk right over there.
You
and,
guys would just see like baskets at your door.
Ironically, we'll put you at a desk near our bathroom. So we could there. That's about what we got today. This has been a ton of fun. Wendy, we just adore you. We really appreciate your spirit and your sense of and duty, this kind of sense of duty you have for empathy and how it's just something you know you need to do and want to do. And even when you don't feel it, you still express it, and I think that's something that goes a long way, and we really appreciate that.
Thanks, Ken. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, tell us all the things you do. I know you and Roka got a show going on. Tell everyone where they can find what you're doing and what you and Dustin are doing.
You can find me and Dustin talking on the nerdy stuff over at the Movie Couple channel on YouTube. Roka and I have a show. It's called John and Wendy Explain the World, where we dive into not just geeky news and some other topics as well. I'm trying to just train Roka into like the K-pop world. Like, go listen to it.
How's that going?
It's a slow push, but
I could think John. I think John could.
He's
get
not
into
too
it.
resistant. He's like, I started with like, he actually pulled a topic. He was like, hey, I found this like BTS news. You want to talk about it? I'm like, oh my God, yes.
Okay.
I'll talk about BTS news. So that's every Friday at 3 p.m. PT over on his channel over at Outlaw Nation. All the social media stuff, Instagram, Twitter at Wendy Lee Zaney, and then playing some cozy games on twitch.tv/Wendy Lee Zaney.
Love it. Well, I really hope you come back here time and time again.
I'll bring more muffins.
Bring the muffins.
Or something else.
You can
something different.
use the fiber there. We're almost out here today. I forgot to pull some videos that make us smile. So, they make Josh smile. He'll have that back. A couple housekeeping notes here. Later today, 4 p.m. Pacific for our channel, debuting my new show here called Ken Goes Live. First guest is Christian Ruvacaba. We're going to talk about him building a studio, creating during the pandemic, finding your creative drive, and a lot of other silly things. New concept, a new show that I'm working on. Always development. It's a weird testament. I knew the show was coming 2-3 weeks ago. I just started working on it last night.
Nice.
So that's how you do it. So we got the segments, including the Robbie Minute. Robbie Smith's going to have I don't even know how to describe it, just a video segment. We did a sample on Positive Report about a week ago. It's going to be like that. A lot of things, cool things coming your way. We'll be doing that. And also we are... oh, gosh, did I upload that? The batting cages, the home run derby, Kaika? Is that there?
I can try and pull it up if you give me.
Oh yeah, this is great. So tomorrow. So here's the deal. We have got. It is in the GPA show's weekly thumbs. Sorry, but I forgot to. It was 2 seconds before the show started. No positivity report tomorrow. We're going to kind of celebrate the holiday weekend, and none on Monday. Tuesday, I return with special guest filmmaker David Moore. We're going to talk about David Moore and all his work. Great guy. Just love him over Real Cool Dudes. But then tomorrow we are going to do an afternoon. We're going to have some fun. Now, Mark, you're going to try to get here too, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to need you. Oh, this coffee, this muffin.
Got
You got it. All right, here we go. Tomorrow we're going to be doing on Twitch about 3 p.m. Home Run Derby. That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Home Run Derby.
That's amazing.
I had to dig up that picture. It did. My picture did not come out as well as I would have liked because it's on an old trading card. Kaika though looks you look like a champion, Kaika.
I sucked at baseball. I struck out every time.
Yeah, you said you retired. Did you walk off the field?
I just didn't want it. Like I got a game ball once, which I could bring in tomorrow. It's literally I got hit by a pitch, which I didn't. They thought I did, and I was like, oh okay. And then I got a single, and I panicked because I never got a hit before. I slid into first base.
I have a friend, Joel. Still lives out here. My high school buddy. He in Little League, he was bigger than the rest of the kids on the team. He started late, so he was like maybe 12, and the rest of the team was 10, right? Which I had experienced that too. And he got hit in the head and just walked off the field and retired from baseball.
Just like that.
Like 12 years old. He's like, clunk. And just went in the car. Mom, take me home. So, anyways, all that to say, tomorrow on twitch.tv/GoodPeopleGPA, Ikaika Shively, Ken Napzok, the Home Run Derby Challenge. I think we're going to do 3 out of 5 on MLB The Show. Riley will be here as well. Look for that about, I'd say safely, about 3 p.m. Pacific. so I can record some Bad Batch stuff myself over at Force Center. Wendy, again, thanks for coming here today. Thanks for the muffins. Mark Reilly, thanks for sharing your truth. GPACharity, thanks for not crying on the way to work here. We really appreciate that.
I try every day.
For more, go to the GPA.fun, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever podcasts are found. A lot of cool things coming that way. That's it for now. Be positive, my friends. Find the good. We'll see you next time.